What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 3 Millionaire Maker.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 3. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. I'm going to give you my Millionaire Maker picks, my top picks at each position. So at the quarterback position, my Millionaire Maker quarterback for NFL Week 3 is CJ Stroud from the Houston Texans, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they have given up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and CJ Stroud has averaged 18.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 3.5 rush attempts per game, and he's projected at 15 fantasy points here in Week 3, but I do think he can put up more points than that in this matchup. And I like this pick because he's only $5,300 DraftKings salary, $1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 44 points scored in this game, and they have the Texans trailing by 9.5. So I do like that this could be a passing game script for CJ Stroud as their team falls behind. He had a fantastic week last week. He's got a good matchup. And I think if you want to save some salary and get some low ownership here, I like CJ Stroud as kind of a sleeper pick, Millionaire Maker pick here versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now just real quick guys, if you're not feeling CJ Stroud, you could just go ahead and pay up $600 more on DraftKings, and it looks like only a little bit more on FanDuel. And you could get Russell Wilson from the Denver Broncos. He's playing the Miami Dolphins. So Russell Wilson has had a pretty good season so far, averaging 23.1 fantasy points per game on the season. And it looks like his ownership is still pretty low. I've been picking him throughout the season, and because his ownership is low, and I know he's a good quarterback, he just hasn't had the pieces around him. Now he's had time to develop. So let's see how it goes. So I like Russell Wilson. Here versus the Miami Dolphins.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. My Millionaire Maker running back is Raheem Mostert from the Miami Dolphins, playing the Denver Broncos, who have the 8th worst defense overall, give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Raheem Mostert has averaged 20.9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's getting an average of 14 rush attempts per game and 1.5 pass targets per game. So not as much volume as I'd like to see, but he did get 19 touches last week, and he's been on the field for 73% of the snaps. Going to be about 15% owned, projected at 12.8 fantasy points here in Week 3. He's only 6,000 DraftKings salaries, 600 more on FanDuel. So I like that price on both sites, especially on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 48 points scored in this game, with the Dolphins favored by 6.5. So Raheem Mostert scored
29 fantasy points last game off of 18 rush attempts and 1 pass target. Good matchup here this week. So I like Raheem Mostert here versus the Denver Broncos. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver for NFL Week 3 is Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns, playing the Tennessee Titans, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Amari Cooper averaging 11.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 8.5 pass targets per game, and he's projected at 13.8 fantasy points here in Week 3. Only $5,700 DraftKings salary and only $500 more on FanDuel. So I like that price on both sites. Now, Vegas only thinks there's going to be 39.5 points scored in this game. They have the Browns favored by 3. Now, it's a good matchup, and Amari Cooper scored 16 fantasy points last week off of 10 pass targets. Scored 7 fantasy points off of 7 pass targets the week before that. So he's getting volume, and with Nick Chubb out, could open up some more pass targets for Amari Cooper in a good matchup here. So I like Amari Cooper here versus the Tennessee Titans.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My Millionaire Maker tight end for NFL Week 3 is Evan Ingram from the Jacksonville Jaguars, playing the Houston Texans, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, give up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Evan Ingram has averaged 10.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.5 pass targets per game. Going to be about 4% owned. He's been on the field for 74% of the snaps, projected at 10.6 fantasy points here in Week 3. He's $4,800 DraftKings salary, $1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 44 points scored in this game. They have the Jaguars favored by 9.5. So I've been a big fan of the Jaguars players so far this season. Been kind of mixing it up with Travis Etienne and some of their wide receivers, and now Evan Ingram, a tight end from Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they got a good team this year. I think they're going to put up a lot of points on the board. I think they're going to have a good offense that always bodes well for your fantasy players when the team can move the ball. So I like Evan Ingram here versus the Houston Texans.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck. You've unlocked the bonus content.
Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got CJ Stroud, Tony Pollard, Raheem Mostert, Jordan Addison, Amari Cooper, Nico Collins, Evan Ingram, Mike Williams, and the Browns defense. So I like this lineup quite a bit. Looks like we have some sleeper picks at the wide receiver position. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Jordan Addison, but he's got a fantastic matchup, and he's been putting up points, 16 fantasy points in both week 1 and week 2. And he's a low salary. Amari Cooper, low salary. Nico Collins, low salary. He's been putting in work, 30 fantasy points last week. You compare him with CJ Stroud. So I like this lineup quite a bit. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later if anything changes. Okay, guys, now here we are in the FanDuel lineup optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. We've generated a lineup, so let's see who we got. We got CJ Stroud, Jerome Ford, who's backing up Nick Chubb for the Cleveland Browns, and he did pretty well for the limited time that he played last week. So then you got Raheem Mostert, Nico Collins, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Evan Ingram, Justin Jefferson, and the Panthers defense. Let's see if we can upgrade Nico Collins here. We could go Terry McLaurin. We could go Josh Reynolds. Let's go ahead and go Josh Reynolds, even though it looks like he has a pretty bad matchup. Let's go Terry McLaurin. He's got a bad matchup as well. Okay, let's see if we can pay up here for Mike Williams, but then we have Keenan Allen, so we'll pay down. Yeah, then we'll go CeeDee Lamb. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We swapped out Keenan Allen for Mike Williams. That saved us some salary and allowed to move up to CeeDee Lamb. So I like this lineup quite a bit now. We got CJ Stroud, Jerome Ford, Raheem Mostert, Mike Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Evan Ingram, Justin Jefferson, and the Panthers defense. So I'm going to save this lineup so I can optimize it later if anything changes.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.